Hello and welcome to my workshop. On today's episode, we are going to make a resin diorama inside of a light bulb. So the first step in making this diorama will be to separate the top from the base. Now as you can hear, this is made from glass. And I have been looking at the best way to do this, and unfortunately there is so much glue inside of there, I think my only option is to cut it apart by using a glass cutter. Now luckily for me, the glass that they use in light bulbs is quite thin, so hopefully I just need to score myself a nice thin line and then we can snap it off. Okay, it is a bit faint, but it is there. Okay, I'm just going to wrap this cloth around the bottom just to help protect it a little bit. And now I'm going to take my pliers, grip onto it, and hopefully we can twist this off. Well, I guess that didn't work, did it? Now I've got to admit, when I went shopping for these light bulbs, I wasn't too sure if this was going to work. So I did buy two, and luckily enough for me, the second attempt actually worked. I mean, it's not the cleanest cut in the world, but it's definitely going to do the job. And as you can see here, look how thin the glass is. I'm actually surprised I got it this good. So now that we do have our two halves, the next thing we need to do is mix up some epoxy resin and pour it into the globe. Now before I do start pouring any resin, I've just been having a think about how I want my iceberg. Now initially I was going to stick the iceberg on top of the water, but now that I've been thinking about it, I kind of want it half under the water and half out of the water. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of these little waste blocks here. This is what's left over when I part one of my eggs off, and I'm going to shape it into an iceberg. That way when we pour the resin in, we can suspend this in the resin while it cures. Now I'll be shaping this piece of resin by using my disc sander and a Dremel. So now that I have my iceberg all finished, I think it looks pretty good. The next thing I'm going to do is hot glue this paddle pop stick to the top here. That way I have some way of holding it when I put it into the light bulb. That's looking pretty good. I don't think it's going to come off. Now the next thing I need to do is work out how I'm going to suspend my bulb, and then I need to get my iceberg in here and work out how I'm going to suspend this. Well, as you can see, I went away from the paddle pop stick and I ended up using one of these bendy alligator clips. I've still got it hot glued on the top there. It looks to be nice and straight. I've got it just off the bottom of the bulb where I wanted it. So I think the next thing I need to do now is mix up some translucent blue resin and pipe it through the hole. Now the resin I'm using for this one is called Artcast Slow Set, and it's mixed at a ratio of 3:1. I thought I'd better not mix this one on the bench in case I knock this over. Okay, it's now time to add some blue ink. What do you guys think? Do you think that's dark enough? Or should I go one more? I might just go one more. I hope I don't regret it. Oh yeah, that's much better. Okay, we'll get this mixed and then start piping. Hopefully I can do it all before the resin sets. It's quite warm today. It's about 32 degrees Celsius. I grabbed a whole bag of these pipettes just in case one's not enough. Okay, so I should be able to just drop the resin in there just like that. So let's go. Did you guys see how hard that bubble was to pop? Just didn't want to go. It's starting to get very close. That's looking pretty good. I was maybe going to go one more, but I think that's it. So all we have to do now is leave this overnight to cure. Now while I'm waiting for that resin to cure, I thought I might start work on my polar bear. Now I do have two bears to choose from. I have a walking bear and a standing bear. Which one would you guys choose? I think I'm going to go with the walking bear. Now to get this bear ready, I need to first spray it white with this gloss white. Then I'm going to take some black acrylic paint and just highlight the nose and the eyes and the claws. While I'm waiting for that paint to dry, I wanted to let you guys know that if you haven't already, go check out the latest episode of the vlog. It is absolutely hilarious. Nicole and I made a Halloween special, and I think you guys will absolutely love it. So if you want to check it out, click at the top here, or there's a link in the description. So now that I have my polar bear all painted, it's time to get back to the bulb. So as you can see, I ended up putting a cover over the top of this, and that's because I left it to cure overnight and I didn't want any dust or bugs getting inside my bulb. But when I took a look at it this morning, I've noticed something very different about my resin. It looks like the blue dye has separated a bit and it's created a bit of a ring around the iceberg. It almost looks like the iceberg has melted a bit and this is all the fresh water around it. Now personally, I kind of like it and I think I got pretty lucky with it. Now this is the first time I've used that brand of dye, so I don't know why it's happened. If any of you guys know, please let me know. So it's now time to take the support off the top of the iceberg. Now this is the part I'm a little worried about. I really hope it doesn't cause me any dramas. Okay, I was kind of hoping that the glue would stay with the alligator clip, but it hasn't. So I'm just going to get myself a pair of tweezers and try and get that glue off. Hopefully it comes off pretty easy. There we go. That wasn't too hard at all. It is now time to add the polar bear to the top of the iceberg, and I'm going to do that with some UV resin. Okay, now that I'm happy with the position, I'm just going to take my UV torch and set the resin. So now that the polar bear is stuck down, there's something really interesting I wanted to show you guys. Now, you know, when we look on top here, it looks like there's a clear ring around the iceberg. I actually think it's an optical illusion, because when you look under here, it all looks fine. It's all uniform and one color. So I think it might be the iceberg that's just causing the illusion. So I've now come to the part of the build where I'm unsure as to what to do next, because I really want to fill this now with some clear resin, but I really like the way the iceberg is magnified under the water and normal above the water. And I feel the minute I pour resin inside of there, it's going to magnify everything, and you won't really be able to distinguish the top from the bottom. Now, I do have another option, which is to add some glycerin, and that'll give me like a snow globe effect. I could probably add some glitter, then we can shake it up and watch it move all around. But that still will give me that magnification effect. So I'm just not sure what to do. Do I leave it and just glue my lid back on? Or do I add some glycerin? Or do I add some resin? So I've been thinking about it, and I figured you guys have already seen what it looks like just like this. I mean, I can go ahead now and glue the top on and it's all finished. But why not give you guys a second option and do the glycerin? So I'm going to put some glycerin in some water, dilute it a little bit, then I'm going to add some glitter, fill it inside, and then glue my top on. I'm just going to glue the top on with some UV resin. Now, I did go ahead and take all the electronics out. That was pretty easy, just a pair of pliers, broke it all away. So that's going to be my next step, get my glycerin ready. So I just finished doing a test. I ended up using 50% glycerin and 50% water. I then added some of this silver halo glitter and a couple of these glitter stars, and the results were quite good. So the next thing I'm going to do is get a big batch made up and pour it into my bulb. I was almost a bit unsure how much glitter to put on. There is a bit floating on top here, but the amount that's suspended is perfect. Now for some stars. Okay, it is now time to start pouring in our glycerin mix. Let's hope it works, hey? Alright, it's in there. It's looking pretty good. Now, as you can see, I didn't fill it all the way to the top, and that is because we still have to glue on our cap. Now, we are going to trap a little air bubble, but that's going to work to our advantage, because that bubble is going to help agitate all the little glitter around. So I think it's going to look really good. So the next thing I'm going to do is get my cap and glue it on. Okay, I think we're all lined up. Now I'm going to give it a hit with some UV. Now I think just to be safe, I might go put this out in the sun for a little bit. So you know how earlier on in this video I wasn't too sure whether or not I wanted to leave this bulb empty or fill it with resin or glycerin? Well, let me tell you, I have 100% made the right choice. This bulb looks absolutely amazing. And if you guys think so too, let me know by hitting the like button. But please only do it if you feel this video deserves it. Now let's take a look at this bulb.